once did they ever inform us that we were doing personal.
This afternoon, the city of Meridian investigating a use of force incident involving a Meridian police officer. The city says he's already voluntarily left the department.
Well, a new report on the NYPD finds the department is unwilling to discipline officers over stop and frisk violations.
Terrible problem for the community. When the community feels like they saw something happen, they reported it to their sheriff's office about misconduct by an officer, and the sheriff's office does nothing.
Tensions between police and the community here in Canton are at an all-time high. And even though this detective was fired, the people I spoke with tell me that's not enough. They want to see all of the officers involved in use of force incidents charged criminally.
United My Justice is the latest community activist group calling for Fort Worth police officer William Martin to be terminated.
We believe that this man is a threat. He is a threat to society.
But the affidavit says police interviewed 14 witnesses and none of them saw the initial collision. Instead, they told investigators they witnessed what they believed was a road rage incident.
The affidavit named Samuel Christopher as the driver of the truck. Witnesses told officers they saw Martin chasing Christopher down the highway that day. They say Martin pulled his car in front of the truck, then slammed his brakes, causing Christopher to rear-end him near Felix Street. They say Martin then got out of his car on the highway, gun in hand, walked to the driver's side of the truck and started shooting, hitting Christopher multiple times as he tried to drive away.
Ram into the off-duty. The off-duty has discharged his weapon.
Then, according to the affidavit, Martin got back in his car and continued chasing Christopher until eventually patrol officers stopped them. Christopher was taken to the hospital, treated and released. Last week, Martin turned himself into the Tarrant County Jail. He's charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. He's out on bond and on what's called detached leave from the Fort Worth Police Department.
We want justice. We want to make sure that this man is behind bars like anybody else.
San Mateo County residents who elected me as their sheriff deserve to know the truth about some serious political dirty dealings that is happening right now. Day one, Mr. Callaghy has continued to overstep his authority, routinely inserting himself into the operations of the sheriff's office. During that meeting, he made an inappropriate and offensive request, ordering me to inform him who I dated within the county and when.
And in the Sunday press conference, Sheriff Christina Corpus announcing a new assistant sheriff, Matthew Fox. Sheriff Corpus fired her previous assistant sheriff while an investigation into a toxic workplace was happening. County Supervisor Mueller said in a statement earlier this month, suggesting Sheriff Corpus fired her previous assistant sheriff as a form of retaliation for taking part in that investigation.
It's my organization, and I pick who is on my executive team.
The sheriff refused to answer questions as to why she fired the assistant sheriff or why she did it during an investigation into her own leadership.
Mr. Callaghy's action has destabilized labor relations, undermining my abilities to lead effectively.
Sheriff Corpus says she's asking the Board of Supervisors to investigate County Executive Officer Mike Callaghy, and if they don't, she will raise it to the state level.
County executive does not decide who is on my executive team. As if I make those decisions, the coach picks their team.
Good morning and welcome to the Bad Apple Report. It's 7:30 a.m. bright and early right here at home on the range. Thank you so much for being here today, folks. You know, I really appreciate it. That's right. You'll notice my enunciation, my articulation of my enunciation. It's because I've had a little bit of a fumble a time or two trying to get through Kelvin Higginbotham. That's right. Kelvin Rumpelstiltskin Higginbotham. LPSO deputy arrested. Oh, and now I'm going to get frogged up. I don't think so. The LPSO deputy has been arrested following a domestic disturbance. Ooh, Mr. Unique. Unique. Okay, Livingston Parish, Louisiana is where we're starting our morning out. Yay! A deputy has been arrested following a domestic disturbance in the Denham Springs area, according to Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office. The deputy is Kelvin Higginbotham, age 55, and he was arrested on charges of domestic abuse and illegal use of a weapon. Oh, goody, Kelvin. According to LPSO, authorities were dispatched to the scene of the disturbance just after midnight. We're going to let it all hang out. On Monday, September 23rd, when authorities arrived at the scene, they learned that one round was fired from a personal weapon inside of a home. Deputies said. They added no one was hurt, but Higginbotham was taken into custody. Higginbotham was immediately terminated from LPSO. Officials said he had served in a part-time capacity with the Marine Division since May of 2023. And also, he was a reserve deputy. Higginbotham was booked into Livingston Parish Detention Center. Oh, Kelvin. All right, we're going to move on with the show. Thanks for being here today, folks.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Billie Jean Shaw in the First Alert News Center. WIS has just confirmed that a spokesperson for a state agency was arrested on a drug charge. According to investigators with the Lexington County Sheriff's Department, Derek Becker, who's a spokesperson for the South Carolina Emergency Management Division, was charged with distribution of meth after investigators say they found a zippered pouch in the parking lot outside of SCEMD. Narcotics agents with the county confirmed the pouch contained over 2 grams of meth. Becker was arrested Friday morning and booked into the Lexington County Detention Center. He was released the following day on a $10,000 bond. This is an ongoing investigation, and of course, WIS will keep you updated as this story develops.
Me and about 3 other guys, we would go in and we set up all of the tents. We set up the grills with fresh propane. We brought out all their steaks, potatoes, all their food to cook for everybody. We filled up their coolers with drinks and ice.
This is a picture McCullough says is of him and another inmate doing work for Zukowski's re-election. He says he was compensated with $3 a week in cigarettes. McCullough feared retaliation from the sheriff if he said no. We sat down with Sergeant Sonny Jones. He is the assistant jail administrator.
What's your response to those allegations?
I would say that would be false. I've worked the steak out. I think they've called it a couple of times, or the steak roast for the sheriff. And there's never inmates at the steak out.
McCullough's attorney tells 19 News this letter detailing the allegations was filed with the Ohio Civil Rights Commission, the Attorney General, and Secretary of State. A spokesperson for the Secretary of State says in a statement, "I can confirm that our office received information on this matter within the past week, and it's being reviewed. We don't comment on pending or active investigations. Our office takes the enforcement of Ohio's election laws seriously and will pursue prosecution of offenses where it's warranted." The Ohio Attorney General also says they are looking into this. McCullough, who now feels safe speaking out, hopes by sharing his story this won't happen to other inmates.
You can't use inmates for your own personal gain.
Stick.
Christina Maurice, page after page, the report blasts the NYPD for not policing itself and for letting a banned practice, stop and frisk, go essentially unpunished. The scathing new report says the NYPD has failed to discipline officers who do not adhere to the court-ordered findings on stop, question, and frisk. The report, written by James Yates, a retired New York State judge, says that in the NYPD, discipline for illegal stops and frisks, even when substantiated by the Civilian Complaint Review Board, is not pursued with the same vigor and resolve as for other misconduct, and that penalties for wrongdoing, even when repeated, are rare. The report also faults top police brass, saying that various police commissioners over time have demonstrated an inordinate willingness to excuse illegal stops, frisks, and searches in the name of good faith or lack of malintention, relegating constitutional adherence to a lesser rung of discipline. In 2013, federal Judge Shira Scheindlin found the NYPD violated city residents' Fourth Amendment rights by making unconstitutional stop and frisks that target a disproportionate number of Black and Hispanic New Yorkers. The judge ordered reforms, and a monitor was appointed. Some legal groups, including the Center for Constitutional Rights, said today that the report proves after 10 years the department cannot be trusted with disciplining itself. In a statement, the New York City Law Department said,
What the hell is your problem, dude?
Stop.
What the hell is the matter?
Stop. What's the problem,
I'm not doing
dude? Put your leg behind your back now.
My hand is behind my
Stop.
Whoa. What? What?
Stop resisting.
Stop what? I'm not resisting.
Stop resisting.
Resisting what? Resisting.
Now here's some of the video posted to YouTube of the arrest of 22-year-old Samson Allen. According to what's heard in the video, his brother was riding a dirt bike through a neighborhood when he crashed. Medics took him to the hospital.
The video showing that his brothers, they say, returned to the scene to load that bike into their truck, and then the officer approaching them, telling them to unload it. It appears that he tells them to get back, grabs one of them by the arm, shouting, "Stop resisting," and then tries to swipe at the camera and then orders that person to back off, placing one knee on the upper back and neck of the other while pointing a taser at that brother.
Now, we've been reaching out to Meridian Police about what happened. A spokeswoman says the chief of police has asked the Office of Professional Standards to conduct a thorough review of the incident.
On August 29, 2024, at approximately 11:30 p.m., CBP officers assigned to the St. Luis, Arizona Port of Entry encountered a 28-year-old female U.S. citizen driving a Nissan sedan who presented U.S. birth certificates for 2 sleeping children in her vehicle. The woman stated to CBP officers that the children were family members. Unable to awaken the children, the primary officer referred the traveler to secondary for further inspection. In secondary, the woman had difficulty waking the children. Officers observed that the children remained extremely groggy. While interviewing the children, officers soon discovered there was no family relationship between the woman and the 2 minors, ages 11 and 8. The birth certificates, while legitimate, did not belong to the children. The minors were Mexican citizens and being smuggled into the United States. The children indicated to CBP officers that they were provided sleep aids in order to avoid detection.
We have a quick news update. It appears that the cop that shot and killed Stephen Perkins, well, here's what's going on. A Morgan County judge has set a new trial date for a former Decatur police officer charged with murder in the shooting death of Stephen Perkins. After a brief hearing on Monday, Judge Charles Elliott set a new trial date for former police officer Mac Marquette, old Mac. He's charged with murder in the on-duty shooting of Perkins in September 2023. Marquette will now stand trial on April 7th, 2025. Okay, with the deadline to file motions in the case set for January 7th, 2025, the former officer had been set to go on trial this November, on the November 18th, but Morgan County District Attorney Scott Anderson asked for that date to be moved back to June. Anderson asked for the move because his office had several capital murder trials scheduled in the months leading up to the original November date. The judge granted the motion, but did not set the new trial date until the status hearing on Monday. Now the Morgan County DA charged Marquette in January after ALEA concluded its investigation into Perkins' death. He turned himself into the Morgan County Jail, was booked in on grand jury warrant for murder, and was held on $30,000 bond before bonding out. Marquette's personal file obtained by News 19 shows he applied for police officer position with the Decatur Police Department late March 2020. He was given conditional hiring offer on September 24th, 2020. He was certified by the Police Officer Standard and Training Commission in April 2021. And that's the story on old Mac Marquette. All right, on with the show.
You saw how it was in there tonight. It's getting worse and worse every week. This city is on the verge of a civil war. Us against the police department.
The city of Canton fired Detective Brandon Momarov Monday. The decision comes after this video surfaced. It shows the detective kick 21-year-old Jameer McElroy, even though he was already on the ground with his hands up. That news just wasn't enough to appease the public at the city council meeting. Stark County Prosecutor Kyle Stone came to the meeting. He explained the process behind presenting police use of force cases to a grand jury.
We cannot guarantee the outcome of the grand jury, but what we can guarantee is that it's presented correctly with integrity, honesty, with no outside influence.
Stone says in the 3 years he's been prosecutor, there's been 7 police shootings. 3 of them were deadly. Stone says Zachary Fornash and Frank Tyson's cases will be presented to a grand jury soon. Fornash was shot to death by police in 2023. Tyson died in police custody in April, and his death was ruled a homicide. Veronica Early's brother was killed by Canton police in 2008.
You killed too many people. You killed my brother, Darryl Ross. Nobody gets indicted. If I did this, I'm going to get fired and I'm going to jail. What makes the police so different?
I asked Prosecutor Stone for his reaction to the detective who was fired for kicking the young man. He told me he couldn't comment because McElroy is a family member.
In an 11-page federal court order, U.S. District Judge Murray Snow lays out the plan for the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office to eliminate the backlog on internal investigations. At the end of July, the department says it had more than 1,300 of these open cases, 40% of them 4+ years old. To put that in perspective, the sheriff's office was supposed to investigate a case in 60 days.
What I'm seeing in those words from the judge is quite a bit of frustration.
All this dates back to 2008 when Latino drivers sued MCSO and then Sheriff Joe Arpaio, saying they were being racially profiled. Judge Snow agreed. In 2013, he put a federal monitor in place to oversee reforms.
This is not governed by financial incentives.
At the end of August, taxpayers spent over $320 million to help the department come into compliance. The internal investigation backlog, a part of it.
We look at this as a win-win for all parties involved.
Christine Wee, an attorney with the ACLU, represents the plaintiffs and supports the order. It gives MCSO 3 times as much time to investigate each internal affairs case. But beginning next month, they'll have to reduce the backlog by 45 cases each month. That will increase each quarter until it gets to 60.
Oh, the cover-up has come uncovered. It turns out that it wasn't the dog that needed the training.
All right, new details today concerning the death of a Cleveland County K9 deputy.
The sheriff is now requesting the State Bureau of Investigation to get involved. The sheriff's office originally told us yesterday K9 Dollar suddenly died during a training session yesterday. But today, authorities said the K9 was actually found dead inside his handler's patrol unit while...
You mean to tell me the sheriff is a liar?
Deputy attended training. The deputy involved has been placed on paid administrative leave as this investigation
He was in training and he left his dog in the car, allegedly to die. What an idiot. And his boss, the sheriff, is a liar. Amazing. Welcome to the Bad Apple Report, knuckleheads.
Here, the suspect we know is 24 years old and does have a rap sheet. According to court documents, he's also been living in the country illegally for quite some time, and that is certainly raising some serious questions in all of this. So we want to give you some information about his past record. Back in 2020, Chavez Rodriguez was charged with domestic assault and DWI for an incident in St. Charles County. At the time, court records said he was in the country illegally from Honduras, and documents also said he had a prior alcohol-related offense as well. Now, though, we know he is now charged in this tragic case. St. Louis police say Officer David Lee was working a separate accident on Interstate 70 when Chavez Ramirez lost control of his vehicle and hit Officer Lee, and according to court records, pinned him against 2 vehicles, then threw him several feet. Lee later died at a local hospital.
Thank you so much for being here today, folks. You know, I really appreciate it. All right. And you know what we're going to do? Well, I know what the cops are going to do. They're going to go on doing what they do with impunity. And I'm going to keep yammering on, and I hope you guys will keep commenting below with our perceived anonymity. All right? And in the meantime, I'm going to whip up some more bad apples for you guys, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. bright and early.